So I always rode a bike just as an A to B, mainly to get to swimming training, not to actually train. And then my dad took up road cycling after he sort of injured his knee. He's been a runner his whole life. And then I guess he kind of T-boned the car, so a car pulled out in front of him, he goes flying over it, wrecks his knees all over again and writes off the frame. It had this massive chip in it in the seat tube, and so I got that bike, and that's how I got into road cycling on this. So I was 13 years old, and I'm on a 56 frame. So I just started cycling. I was like in the middle-aged men in Lycra gang, and decided that I wanted to try and get into racing. And my dad's running background, he'd been running the Highland Games as a youth, as an adult actually. And he knew that there was bike racing, so we went there because it's handicapped. So I get this massive head start and I get to win my first race because it wasn't quite, well, it was first over the finish line, but we didn't all start at the same start line. And so I got a taste for that kind of success really early on, and I think that spurred me on to try and get bigger wins. Now that cycling's my profession, it influences literally every decision I make. And so my family will kid and say that, well, you don't have a job, you're unemployed, like you've really not got anything to worry about. And I sound really spoiled in return when I say, no, listen, my job's 24/7, because it's you don't really turn off, because it's not just like how good does something feel now, it's how you're going to wake up the next day kind of thing. So I guess it's influenced how I view my purpose in the world, I suppose, because you've got to put everything together into a bigger plan. So you've got to prioritize and say, this is what I want to achieve. And it's not a case of sacrificing other things, it's just making the choices that put you to where you want to be. RDS Graham and I, he kind of hates the lust that people have for gold medals, which really goes hand in hand with the Olympic dream, I would say, which is a massive deal for me. With Rio being my first Olympics and sort of this big dream to go to Tokyo and ride again Olympics in the track. So if you want to be black and white about it, I guess I don't think it's that outrageous to define it as, like we say, either first across the line, person with the medal around the neck. But I think what I enjoy so much about this team is the kind of more nuanced successes that we have, and the teamwork that we can celebrate achieving those goals that aren't necessarily just just being the best, because we want the longevity of the team. So it's about getting results that are things like just working together to get one rider the best result that we wanted, rather than all scrapping together to just try and finish a race, and about developing each other with like sharing our training plans and sort of techniques and things. And I'm kind of, I guess, learning a bit from that and trying to embrace that ideology. Well, now I'm in the bizarre situation that lots of riders I looked up to when I was developing and I ride with on a regular basis in the British team. So that's people like Joanna Rousel and Laura Trott, and for a time Danny King. And these were people that you'd sort of seen on a television, whether it's in sort of more local races like the Tour Series up to the Olympic Games. And so it becomes quite bizarre when you have these idols that start to fold into your day-to-day life, and you actually get to see them as more complex and sort of idiosyncratic human beings, and not just people on a pedestal. So I found that really kind of interesting these last couple of years, trying to sort of reevaluate what I saw as a cycling champion to what I now understand as a human being. So if anything, it's their flaws and their struggles that kind of inspire me to continue on the same path, and realize that I can share the same ambition, because we're all human at the end of the day. Well, I'm hoping that on the road I've not found my favourite race, because this will be my biggest season on the road. And like we say, it's for WNT, first year as UCI professional, so the kind of the new doors that are opening for us, I think it's still out there. It means opportunity, it means support, and it yeah, it means some fantastic teammates to ride with and to learn from. Although we're sort of relatively young and new squad that has a lot of development to go, there's some really experienced riders that I'm open to steal some secrets from. Yeah, I think the biggest one that kind of echoes with me on a daily basis is family, because that's a huge element of what we have to do to get a team result, which is a lot of the time just one person across the finish line. And I think that kind of marries in quite nicely with what we all know of family home life, that it's quite often maybe like a parent that's like scrambling all over the place to help a kid, or whether it's someone that's sometimes in the shadows when you know that actually they've been helping their siblings. And I think that is the relationship that we have as a professional cycling team, and it's nice to see that mirrored in the professional industrial world.